Do your emotions often get the best of you? Do you sometimes regret things said or done in the heat of the moment? In this episode of the Enlightened Mind, we explore a profound Buddhist story about a short-tempered king who learned the art of emotional mastery, not through punishment, but through perspective. This timeless tale offers us practical wisdom about emotional awareness, self-regulation, and living with presence and peace. The angry king and the fly in the soup. There once lived a powerful king known throughout his kingdom not only for his authority, but for his impulsive temper. Small issues could ignite large reactions. A minor mistake by a servant could lead to severe punishment. The royal court lived in tension, unsure when the next outburst might occur. One day, a wise Buddhist monk visited the kingdom. Hearing of the monk's presence, the king invited him to a formal dinner at the palace. As they sat to eat, a fly landed in the king's soup. Disgusted and furious, the king roared, "How dare you serve me soup with a fly in it?" The terrified servant trembled and explained, "Your Majesty, the fly must have fallen in after I served it." But the king's anger only grew. The monk observed silently and then spoke calmly, "Your Majesty, it is not the fly that has disturbed your peace, it is your own reaction. The fly is external. Your anger is internal. The true disturbance lies within." The king, still burning with frustration, responded, "But how can I help it? Even something so small can completely ruin my mood." The monk smiled. "That is exactly the point. You believe your emotions are stronger than you. But in reality, you are the master of your emotions, not the other way around. The problem is not the presence of the emotion. It is the habit of reacting blindly." Buddhist reflection. Emotions are waves, not anchors in Buddhism. Emotions are understood as impermanent mental formations. They arise, stay for a while, and dissolve. The suffering comes not from having emotions, but from clinging to them or pushing them away. The Buddha taught, just as a solid rock is not shaken by the storm, even so the wise are not affected by praise or blame. In other words, emotions are like weather patterns. A wise person learns not to fight the rain, but to carry an umbrella. The king learns to pause. The monk's words pierced the king's pride. Yet something deeper awakened. He began to reflect. Over the next few weeks, the king made a conscious effort to pause before reacting. He breathed deeply when irritation arose. He observed his feelings without acting on them. Gradually, the emotional storms became milder. He started making better decisions. He became more respected, not for his power, but for his patience. His relationships improved. The palace became more harmonious. One day, he returned to the monk and said, "Master, I now see what you meant. I no longer let a fly ruin my day." The monk replied, "Then you have learned the art of emotional mastery." Applying this wisdom in our lives, we live in a world filled with stress, noise, and emotional triggers. We can't control every situation, but we can control how we respond. Here are practical Buddhist-based tools to manage emotions. Recognize your triggers. Everyone has emotional triggers, events, people, or memories that spark intense reactions. By identifying these, you gain insight into your own conditioning. Awareness is the first step to change. Pause before reacting. The space between stimulus and response is where freedom lives. A single breath, a few seconds of silence. These moments can prevent regret. Practice mindfulness. Daily mindfulness meditation trains your mind to observe without judgment. This allows you to witness emotions as they arise, instead of being consumed by them. Use physical anchors when overwhelmed. Bring your attention to your breath or body. This grounds you in the present and calms the nervous system. Reframe the situation. Ask, "Is this worth my peace?" Often, the answer is no. Choose understanding over outrage. Let go of emotional perfection. You don't have to be emotionless. You just have to stop being reactive. The goal is not suppression, but awareness and wise response. Emotional intelligence in Buddhism modern psychology refers to this as emotional intelligence. Buddhism has been teaching it for over 2,500 years. To control your mind is the highest wisdom. The Buddha said, "He who conquers himself is greater than he who conquers 1,000 in battle." Self-conquest begins with self-awareness. Final reflection: who's driving? You or your emotions? If you let your emotions drive your life, you'll crash at every curve. But when you become the driver, calm, focused, and aware, you steer your life toward peace. Let the story of the angry king be a reminder. Even the most powerful can be humbled by a fly, and even the most reactive can find peace through presence. So next time something small disrupts your day, pause, breathe, observe. Choose a higher response. Folded hands, subscribe to the Enlightened Mind for weekly Buddhist stories and insights that help you master your inner world.